Hello, everybody over there in YouTube land and in Facebook. Good morning. What am I doing? I'm doing AA. I'm coming up on 11 years real fast. So, yeah, it's been interesting. But, okay, thank you, Lily. Lily, my twin over here on YouTube. I have Hutch on my Facebook. Thank you guys for being here. It does make it easier when you have support for anything that you do. So I saw that crazy mess on yours there. I have a glare. Where? She says hi, Hutch. But yeah, so anyways, that was a crazy mess that you were in the other day. I would have acted the same way. That would have ticked me off too, man. Somebody tried to run him off the road. That's crazy. Craziness. Anyways, it's Tuesday morning. And it's AA day at 11. So I'm a little bit early. He says, hi, Lily. Yeah, I saw a motorcyclist on my way home the other day, and I knew he was going to cut somebody off. I'm not saying that all motorcycle riders do that, but we only have a split second to slow down our car before running somebody over that cuts you off. So I see both sides of it. I don't follow close to motorcycle riders because I do have those in my family. And I do understand when somebody cuts you off. It's when somebody on a motorcycle cuts you off, that's risking you and then somebody else, having stomped on their brakes. Just everybody needs to mind each other on the road, and it just, I don't know. Patience is a virtue, I swear. And especially if you're going the speed limit, you don't deserve to be shoved down the road. And I'll be the first to admit when somebody's trying to shove me down the road, I slow down. I'll go even slower. that's just how I am. But yeah. Thank you, Lily, for sharing the live. So November 15th, I got sober in 2014. And it has been a crazy, wild ride of good, bad, but blessed days of sobriety. It's not easy at all, but it gets easier. And I say it gets easier because she says, come over to YouTube. All right, you too. Be safe out there. Anyways, yeah, it's been amazing. So do you still see the glare? Oh. Why will you might have to leave early? Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get the meeting started, even if it's just me. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become manageable. 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over the care of God as we understood Him. 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove these defective characters. 7, humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and become willing to make amends to them all. 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, continue to take personal inventory, and when wrong, promptly admit it. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Let me grab my drink. Coffee, water, and a Monster. Coffee's cold. Never mind the coffee. So we are... I always put in the description what page we're on, what book we're reading, all that good jazz. So we're in... I have the 4th edition of the AA book, the big book. And we're on chapter 7, Working with Others, page 98. Sorry, Facebook. You guys are getting moved all around. Because I have to use my phone and my tripod's in the car. And the car's not here. So, anyways, I'm going to start at, it is not the matter By the way, I'm Sandra and I'm an alcoholic, and please don't be judging each other in the comments or in the chat. This is a meeting, and we don't do judgment here, and just be mindful of each other being in the chat. Anyway, it is not the matter of giving that is in question, but when and how to give. That often makes the difference between failure and success. The minute we put our work on a service plane, the alcoholic commences to rely upon our assistance rather than upon God. He clamors for this or that, claiming he cannot master alcohol until his material needs are cared for. Nonsense. Some of us have taken very hard knocks to simply hard knocks to learn this truth. Job or no job, wife or no wife, we simply do not stop drinking so long as we place dependence upon other people ahead of dependence on God. Burn the idea into the consciousness of every man that he can get well regardless of anyone. The only condition is that he trusts in God and clean house. Now the domestic problem. There may be divorce, separation, or just strained relations. When your prospect has made such reputation as he can to his family, and he thoroughly explained to them the new principles by which he is living, he should proceed to put those principles into action at home. That is, if he is lucky enough to have a home. Though his family be at fault in many respects, he should not be concerned about that. He should concentrate on his own spiritual denominations. Argument and fault finding are to be avoided like the plague. In many homes, this is a difficult thing to do, but it must be done if any results are to be expected. If persisted in for a few months, the effect on a man's family is sure to be great. The most incapable people discover they have a basis upon which they can't meet, which they can meet. People discover they have a basis upon which they can meet. Little by little, the family may see their own defects and admit them. These can then be discussed in an atmosphere of helpfulness and friendliness. After they have been tangible results, the family will perhaps want to go along. These things will come to pass naturally and in good time, provided, however, the alcoholic continues to demonstrate that he can be sober, considerate, and helpful, regardless of what anyone says or does. Of course, we all fall much below this standard many times, but we must try to repair the damage immediately, lest we pay the penalty by a spree. If there be divorce or separation, there should be no undue haste for the couple to get together. The man should be sure of his recovery. This goes either way, his or her, depending on which one or whatever you decide. The wife should fully understand his new way of life. If their old relationship is to be resumed, it must be on a better basis, since the former did not work. This means a new attitude and spirit all around. Sometimes it is to the best interest of all concerned that a couple remain apart. Obviously, no rule can be laid down. Let the alcoholic continue his program day by day. When the time for living together has come, it will be apparent to both parties. Let an alcoholic say he cannot recover unless he has his family back. This just isn't so. In some cases, the wife will never come back for one reason or another. Remind the prospect that his recovery is not dependent upon people. It is dependent upon his relationship with God. We have seen men get well whose families have not returned at all. We have seen others slip when the family came back too soon. Both you and the new man must walk day by day in the path of spiritual progress. If you persist, remarkable things will happen. When we look back, we realize that the things which came to us when we put ourselves in God's hands were better than anything we could have planned. Follow the dictates of a higher power, and you will presently live in a new and wonderful world, no matter what your present circumstances. When working with a man and his family, you should take care not to participate in their quarrels. You may spoil your chance of being hopeful if you do. But urge upon a man's family that he has been a very sick person and should be treated accordingly. You should warn against arousing resentment or jealousy. You should point out that his defects of characters are not going to disappear overnight. Show them that he has entered upon a period of growth. Ask them to remember, when they are impatient, the blessed facts of his sobriety. If you have been successful in solving your own domestic problem, tell the newcomer's family how that was accomplished. In this way, you can set them on the right track without becoming critical of them. The story of how you and your wife settled your difficulties is worth any amount of criticism. Assuming we are spiritually fit, we can do all sorts of things alcoholics are not supposed to do. People have said we must not go where liquor is served. We must not have it in our homes. We must shun friends who drink. We must avoid moving pictures which show drinking scenes. We must not go into bars. Our friends must hide their bottles. If we go to their houses, we must think or be reminded about alcohol at all times. Or at all. I mustn't, I mean. We meet these conditions every day. An alcoholic who cannot meet them still has an alcoholic mind. There is something the matter with the spiritual status. His only chance for sobriety would be some place like the Greenland ice cap. And even there, an Eskimo might turn up with a bottle of scotch and ruin everything. Ask any woman who had sent her husband to distant places on the theory he would escape the alcohol problem. In our belief, any scheme of combating alcoholism which possesses to shield the sick man from temptation is doomed to failure. If the alcoholic tries to shield himself, he may succeed for a time, but he usually winds up with a bigger explosion than ever. We have tried these methods. These attempts to do the impossible have always failed. So our rule is not to avoid a place where there is drinking, if we have a legitimate reason for being there. That includes bars, nightclubs, dances, receptions, weddings, even plain ordinary whoopee parties. To a person who has an experience with an alcoholic, this may seem like tempting providence, but it isn't. You will note that we made an important qualification. Therefore, ask yourself on each occasion, have I any good social, business, or personal reason for going to this place? Or am I expecting to steal a little vicarious pleasure from the atmosphere of such places? If you answer these questions satisfactorily, you need have no adherence. Go or stay away, whichever seems best. But be sure you are on solid spiritual ground before you start, and that your motive is going in thoroughly good. Do not think of what you will get out of the occasion. Think of what you can bring to it. But if you are shaky, you had better work with another alcoholic instead. Why sit with a long face in places where there is drinking, sighing about the good old days? If it is a happy occasion, try to increase the pleasure of those there. If a business occasion, go and attend to your business enthusiastically. If you are with a person who wants to eat in a bar, by all means go along. Let your friends know they are not to change their habits on your account. At a proper time and place, explain to all your friends why alcoholics disagree with you. If you do this thoroughly, few people will ask you to drink. While you were drinking, you were withdrawing from life little by little. Now you are getting back into the social life of this world. Don't start to withdraw again just because your friends drink liquor. Your job now is to be at the place where you may be of maximum helpfulness to others. So never hesitate to go anywhere if you can be helpful. You should not hesitate to visit the most sordid spot on earth on such an errand. Keep on the firing line of life with these motives, and God will keep you unharmed. Many of us keep liquor in our homes. We often needed to carry green recruits through the severe hangover. Some of us still serve it to our friends, provided they are not alcoholic. But some of us think we should not serve liquor to anyone. We never argue this question. We feel that each family, in the light of their own circumstances, ought to decide for themselves. We are careful never to show intolerance or hatred of drinking as an institution. Experience shows that such an attitude is not helpful to anyone. Any new alcoholic looks for this spirit among us and is immensely relieved when he finds we are not witch burners. Witch burners. A spirit of intolerance might repel alcoholics whose lives could have been saved had it not been for such stupidity. We would not even do the cause of temperate drinking any good. For any one drinker in 1,000 likes to be told anything about alcohol by anyone or by one who hates it. Someday we hope that Alcoholics Anonymous will help the public to a better realization of the gravity of the alcoholic problem, but we shall be a little use to if our attitude is one of bitterness or hostility. Drinkers will not stand for it. After all, our problems were of our own making. Bottles were only a symbol. Besides, we have stopped fighting anybody or anything. We have to. So, I had to have that spiritual come to me before I was willing to go into any of those situations. I did exactly those things. I stopped listening to music that had the word alcohol in it. I stopped going around people that were drinking, including my friends and my family. I stopped socializing. When I was drinking, I stopped socializing. I was just me in my own bubble of drinking and loneliness and projecting to keep people away so that way I could be who I thought was myself. But when I got sober on my own. I didn't have anybody or anything to help me through those shakes and the sweats and the hard withdrawals. I did those by myself. I mean, I had family around, but I was physically and mentally by myself. Because I didn't want to be around anybody. My husband watched me go through it. He went through his own withdrawals 25 years ago. Or no, 29 years ago, right? No, I think it's been 28 years. Might be 29. But not everybody gets out of it. And not everybody gets the things that they should out of this on the first round of reading and stuff. So me, I stopped listening to all those music, going to the grocery store with the liquor in it. I stayed away from family that would drink or that I knew was drinking. we made new rules of no alcohol in my home ever, or in my fifth wheel, anywhere that I am at on my choice at the time was no alcohol. And that was my husband's choice also. So instead of putting myself in situations that I might drink, I completely cut it off. And I was finally paying attention in AA of all of these things that I had done in that process of getting sober and managing and knowing all of these things that I needed to know. I finally went into a restaurant. I went into the bar part of the restaurant and I had dinner. That was what I had. Other people were drinking. It didn't bother me. Surprise, surprise. Because I thought it would. But I've been listening to the old timers in AA meeting. They will go into these situations because they knew that they could stay sober and that they had been doing it for many, many years. And for me, I finally went ahead and went into a bar. That was fine. It didn't bother me. My dad, his drink of choice is the same one that used to be mine. It was Jack Daniels. And that was just straight Jack Daniels. I could drink it without thinking. And he would always hide it when I would come over, when I first started going to AA. And eventually I was like, stop hiding it, please. Just don't hide it. You don't need to do that. I'm fine. And that's when I finally realized, okay, I've got this and I'm in it for a long time, but I can't jump ahead of myself because I don't know what the future is. Because you don't. But going through all of the things that 11 years of sobriety has taught me is tolerating things that I can't control. And I can't be in control of all situations. And I can live for today and say that I'm sober now, today. For tomorrow, I plan to be. But I say that because we're not guaranteed that we have sobriety beyond 24 hours. But my plans are to be sober. I want to be sober. I've been living a life of sobriety for 11 years. And it's not easy. It's never easy if you don't work your steps. And for me, I have been sharing my sobriety here for almost 4 years. Or almost 3. I'll have to go back and see my exact first AA meeting, but I can't really do that because I deleted some of them. But I'm coming up on number 11, and thinking that I wouldn't even make it to 1 year. I'll never forget when I got my 1 year. I was like, I made it for a year. I got this. And I have friends and family who still drink right now that are alcoholics. And I try to encourage them into getting that help that they need. But one friend is getting help now, and I'm thanking the Lord for that. Because being on the sobriety side of it, I can understand how the family feels about watching their loved one go downhill like that and withdraw from reality and, just hurting your family while you're going through that, and you're not thinking about who all you're hurting, and the main person is yourself. You're taking yourself away from them, the people that love you. And it sucks. It really sucks. Me, when I got sober, I left a friend in the dust. That situation was just crazy. But for that time, I had to make a choice of coming back to where I know the places that I need to be. I'm glad I came back to where my family is, because when I started AA, I was living in my fifth wheel in my parents' yard, in their driveway. And got my first job up in the woods. And I felt wonderful because I was making money. I got to make new friends, meet new people, see different places that I hadn't, really been into. Taking care of campgrounds that I have grown up going to. Being able to tell people where these places were. And that my family logged some of those places. It was just amazing to be able to do those and do it sober, and watching my kids graduate sober, helping others to achieve sobriety has been my number one goal for helping and spreading the awareness of the alcoholics and what we can do to help each other out of that part of their life. So, anyways. Well, you gotta go pay rent. Okay. Well, that's it for today, guys. I love y'all, and I'll see you on the next one. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Keep coming back. It works if you work. I love you guys.